All right, so I want to do a quick presentation. This will be, I think it's like 4 slides. It'll be really brief, but there's a lot of people talking about future of work, more specifically talking about STEM versus non-STEM career pathways. A quick career review. All right, so I'm going to give a brief breakdown of 3 pathways. Again, these are really varied, but within each kind of category here, it can go a lot of different ways. So this is going to be very generalized, but at the same time, based on personal experience, the research I've done, and then of course talking to other people, there's still some relevance to what I'm sharing here, and definitely thoughts that we should take into consideration if we're educators, parents, even students themselves navigating. So looking at STEM, non-STEM, and one that's not often talked about, which is trades, your HVAC, plumbing, those types of career pathways and endeavors, which can be pretty lucrative. All right, so first, looking at STEM, which is talked about a lot, really popular. I wanted to highlight one primary thing for each of these categories, which is the average time to employment. Again, varies, can be different, look different for a lot of different people, depending on which trajectory you go into. But typically, we're looking at 3 to 6 months when you have a STEM degree. And of course, the highest demand for those types of roles and responsibilities are going to be more in computer science. So everything with technology, of course, at this point, as we're seeing, definitely thinking about everything with AI, growth, development, robotics, the understanding there related to data, how that works, anything where you can really sit down and be a little bit more like, formulaic behind a screen. Those things are becoming really, really prominent or have already been, but I think even more so now looking into the future. So that's one consideration. And then another aspect of it is that there's actually been reported like, over 1 million jobs that are unfilled. So the idea there is basically we don't necessarily have, talking about the US, enough professionals necessarily to even fill the positions that are already open. We're going to see the continuance of this kind of grow, and a need for more people who have the skill sets and understanding of how the tools work. And then thinking about what the pathways kind of look like and how we can think about positioning, definitely things like internships and co-ops, and basically looking at that where kind of direct training, hands-on experience is going to be key. And that's probably true with just about anything. But definitely in this context, where if we have students who maybe are in high school, early college, working with organizations, companies that already are in the space and getting some of that experience, getting hands-on, seeing how things actually work kind of in the real world and not just theoretically in their classrooms or in the lecture hall. If they're involved in that already, then what does that mean for them after they graduate, right? There's kind of an acceleration to where they can move a little bit quickly. Non-STEM, there's always a lot of conversation, people poking at, liberal arts degrees and things like that. This is not a presentation for that. It's just kind of laying out the information. So average time to employment here, roughly 6 to 12 months. Again, a lot of variance. There's This is not necessarily a context for like having the argument of, oh, it's going to take forever to get a job. Just looking at breakdown, and breaking this down, more so looking at it from a contextual standpoint for comparison. So again, non-STEM degrees is going to be a little bit broader in terms of job market, and what types of roles, industries, responsibilities. So it's not